Hello Stitchers, how's it going? Good weekend for everybody, I hope. Good God, do I look red and hair is terrible. And you know what? I'm never gonna look great on these videos, and I don't think I'm ever going to get used to like having to mirror myself like from what I see and like, oh, this side of my hair, wait, is it this side of my hair? Just what was I going to talk about today? Jeez. Oh, I have a couple of new starts because I couldn't let the Stitch Mania folks, do their whole month of craziness without starting a couple of things myself. I just couldn't. And I had quite a few finishes last month, so yay. And what else? I have a teeny tiny little haul. I was hoping it would be a little bit bigger, but I ordered a kit from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, and it hasn't gotten here yet, and I'm getting kind of concerned. Because according to my tracking number, it's still sitting on a truck somewhere in California. I'm in Pennsylvania. Little worried. But that's kind of on the Postal Service and not on Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I mean, they obviously packed it and shipped it, and so they held up their end of the deal, so I'm kind of not sure what to do next. I think if it doesn't get here by Friday, I'm going to call the post office and have a teeny tiny freak out. But that's neither here nor there. So that was going to be part of my haul, and also my LYS's, which is local yarn shop, as opposed to LNS, LYS, my yarn store, the little contest they're having with the UFOs, I won their monthly drawing, because I took the baby sweater into them and said, hey, yeah, this is what I said I was going to finish, and I finished it, yay, and was entered in a drawing, and I won a gift certificate. I don't win things very often, so that was pretty cool. Excuse me, that was pretty cool. And so what I did was I had seen a pattern for this vest, and I will link it below. It's called the Furrowed vest. By Norah Gaughan? One of those. She published it in an Interweave magazine, Knitwear, spring 2013. Anyway, saw it, loved it, had to have it. I very rarely knit for myself, so this was kind of cool. So I went to my yarn shop and I bought a bunch of skeins of yarn for my new vest. It is Barocco Modern Cotton. The colorway is Iggy. I don't know why they're calling it Iggy. It's kind of a tangerine orange. I like orange. The color is not, it looks a little bit more obnoxious on the screen than it is in person. But it is, what is it? It is Pima cotton and rayon. So it's perfect for warm weather, and the rayon will help the cotton hold its shape. So I got a bunch of this to make my vest, and yay, anything better than yarn is yarn you don't have to pay full price for because you won a contest. Okay. So that was going to be my haul. I'm not going to get up from my chair because I forgot to get it out and root around in my stash bins. I bought at Joann's I took a deep breath, and I bought some even weave fabric. I did it because I'm the little piece sheep from Little House Needleworks. I'm gonna do that on something that is not Ada, and I'm scared, but not that scared. I will do it. I will do it. You know why I will do it? Because the kit I got from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, I didn't choose the Ada, I chose the linen, because I'm crazy. And that's the air conditioner. I'm sorry. But it's hot here. In Philly, I don't know where it's like where you live, but in Philly, just because of where we are, we get about 2 weeks of spring if we're very lucky. And then it's like, okay, it's summertime. It's going to be 100 degrees until like October. Yay! So that's how it is. But you know what? This winter sucked. It was so oppressively cold that I'm so happy. I get to wear my tank tops and skirts and things and sandals, and if I could just be barefoot all the time, I would be happy. You don't care. I apologize. Where was I? Oh yeah, so I got some non-Ada fabric, and I have some non-Ada fabric coming for future projects. And kind of scary, but you know, it's like in the same way that, say, going from just knitting dishcloths and scarves and things like that to knitting socks was a little bit intimidating, and going from knitting just with one color to doing color work like Fair Isle and Intarsia was a little scary. But you just, you know, persevere and watch videos and read books and, you know, and ultimately just do it. And it usually works out okay. There are little hiccups here and there, but that is how we learn. I don't really need to tell you that, do I? I feel very all over the place today. And it's not even 10 a.m. Bear with me. Stitch Mania, by the way. Everyone is doing so well. It's just so cool to see just the huge variety of patterns that people have chosen. Just, you know, from sort of like a crafty anthropologist point of view, it's like, wow, I didn't know that existed, and I didn't know that existed, and ooh, I knew that existed, but I never would have thought to do that with that fabric or with those colors. And it's just so, I'm having a ball. And I'm not even doing the, you know, new start every day thing. It's just, I'm just watching all of you and your choices, and just the conversations. I mean, I just love the community. I mean, we could end Stitch Mania and like the community on Facebook and YouTube could continue on, and, you know, it could have some sort of like, it could morph from new projects to, hey, I passed a kidney stone, and it would still be a great community, and I would still read, and I would still watch videos. So, yeah, it's awesome. Thank you, Garrett and Angie, for coming up with this, because that's really cool. Anyway, new starts that I started as sort of a little solidarity thing, that come with a question. I'll ask the question first. Backstitching. And I'll remind y'all that I'm a relatively new stitcher. I was under the impression that backstitching was usually done with one strand of floss. Is that correct? Because if not, well, A, I'd like to know, and B, that would make sense with some of the issues I'm having with just one strand for backstitching not really showing up, or just not seeming like it's providing enough coverage, if that makes sense. I'll give you an example. Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery's mini libraries. I'm going to do both Agatha Christie and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, but I started Agatha Christie first. And here we have Dame Agatha with Miss Marple and with Monsieur Poirot. Look at his mustache! Look at it! Look at the adorableness! So cute! Anyway, I don't know if you can see the bow on Miss Marple's hat. Originally, I backstitched that with just one strand of the blue, and it totally disappeared. So I went over it again. And I think you can actually see it now. On the other hand, like for her lapels on her jacket, that's just one strand. And the lapels on Poirot's jacket are also just one strand. On the other hand, with his coat and vest, I did 2 strands. Because it's kind of like, I'm trying to hold this so you can see it, and doing things backwards is not one of my strong suits. Anyway, so is this just kind of backstitching? Is it just kind of like you just do what works? Are there rules? Are there suggestions? Because right now I'm just kind of doing what works. So anyway, Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, mini libraries, Agatha Christie. Over here are going to be some book titles and then a quote down here. And it's on 14 count light blue Ada with DMC. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. Well, I'm going to frame it, but I might give it to my mom for Hanukkah or for her birthday, maybe. Or I might keep it. Although, you know what? I'll give it to my mom because this is such a quick stitch that I could easily, like, I would do this again. Like, I mean, I did this over the weekend while stitching a couple of other things, working on backstitching on the Water Dragon, and, like, doing fun weekend family stuff. So, this was crazy fast. And it's little, I mean, you can see. So, doing this again would not be a hardship. Going back to the backstitching issue, I also I'm working on, for my kiddo, for my daughter, I'll just go out and say it, and I've been trying to kind of keep her sort of, I don't want to say sheltered, but, I mean, she's 4, and I don't really want her to have sort of an online presence until she's old enough to make the decision for herself. But that is another conversation for another time. WeeLittleStitches, Star Wars A New Hope, most of the main cast, well, the protagonists. Also having some issues with backstitching, and this is nowhere near done because, well, it's getting close. I keep going to craft stores looking for the floss that is going to fill in on Chewy here, and they keep not having it. Well, my local Joann's might have it. I just sort of, I looked at the number of the floss that I needed, and then when I wrote it in my phone, I mixed them up. So I came home and I was like, what do I need this pink for? Like, oh, I'm just an idiot. This is really fun, and if you've ever gotten anything from WeeLittleStitches before, you might know that they give you nice little pep talks in the pattern about how, you know, this is perfect for new people, and here are some different ways you could finish it. If you want to frame it, here's what you can do. So that's cool. When I am done with the folks, I'm going to look up a free alphabet online, and backstitch May the Force Be With You down here. Can you see that there? It may take me a little while to finish it, because there are going to be C3PO has a French knot around here somewhere, and then R2 has 3. And so I'm going to take some scraps of Ada and practice. So this is fun. This is also a crazy quick stitch. 14 count oatmeal Ada. It's the same cloth I did my other Star Wars sampler on with DMC. Backstitching, yeah. On Luke's tunic here, this is one strand up here. And actually I think on the ties on his boots down here are also one strand, and I don't know if you can see them. 3PO is going to have some backstitching as well, and I'm not sure. I think I might have to do his with 2 strands because the color for C3PO's backstitching is really similar to the main color that I think I'm going to do 2 strands with that and hope it works and shows up. So, really long, rambling question. Just give me your thoughts on backstitching and how many strands of floss and what do you do? Are there rules? Are there guidelines? I mean, this is crafting. There are no, like, rules other than you have to be consistent. But anyway, yeah, does anyone have issues with backstitching where, like, just using one strand is kind of doesn't really show up sometimes? I want to know. Okay, putting you there. And speaking of just using one strand, I'll show you all of the full crosses and half crosses, etc. on the water dragon are done, and I'm working on the backstitching. And I just want to show you, I haven't really made much progress on the backstitching at all, but you can see this is just one strand, and I think it's showing up on her face and her belly really well. So that works, but I think that's because the contrast is dramatic enough that one strand cuts it. So, that's all the stuff I have to show you and all the technical things I wanted to babble about. If I may get personal for just a second. Those of you who are in the Stitch Mania Facebook group will know that on first day of Stitch Mania, Friday, May 1st, I had to attend a funeral. My great aunt, my paternal grandfather's sister, older sister, died at the age of 102, still living independently in the apartment she had at a retirement community. She went very peacefully one morning, sitting in her chair with the morning paper in her lap. And I had just mentioned not really thinking anyone would be concerned because just given the circumstances of my great aunt's death, I haven't been really sad because 102 years, still living independently, you know, the only issue she really had was macular degeneration, and she actually died waiting for her friends to come over and read her the newspaper. So, which was just kind of like their morning ritual, and had been since she stopped being able to read for herself. Which I thought, I was like, sign me up for a death like that. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna miss her, but I mean, she kind of nailed life. I mean, she did the bonus round, and it's going to be really hard to beat her high score. So I had just kind of mentioned this, that I had to go to a funeral in passing on the Facebook group, because I had been saying, I'm going to be a cheerleader for y'all. And, so in the morning I was like, hey, everybody have a good start. I'm going to a funeral, so everybody have some fun for me. The amount of concern that people I don't even know, except, sort of, I'll recognize, someone's thumbnail from somewhere on the floss tubes or on the facing books or whatever. Or people whose videos I've been watching but don't really consider I don't really consider myself as really one of the floss tube inner circle. Even forget I said that. That doesn't make any. I'm rambling because I'm speaking off the cuff. I'm new to the community, and people who I know because I've been watching their videos, but who I don't think know me, were asking how I was doing and telling me they were sorry for my loss and is everything okay. And at first I felt kind of bad because I wasn't really grieving, because I was just so happy that my great aunt had such a wonderful life. And so I tried to share a couple of tidbits, like, no guys, it's okay. And people were like, oh man, she sounds really awesome. I can't, I hope I'm as cool as her when I'm, when I'm older. And it was just really, it meant so much. And so I just want to sort of thank everybody, and just sort of, I've noticed that within crafty communities in general, be it knitting or cross-stitching, which is the two I have the most experience with, is people in these communities, we care. Like, even if we don't know someone well, if it seems like someone might be struggling, be it from a death or, in just recalling something from Ravelry, a community on Ravelry I'm on, someone trying to leave an abusive relationship and trying to get their ducks in a row as to how to do so safely. Just the amount of support for things like that, for people you don't even know, it just blows me away every time. And so I just want to thank you, and especially, like, Angie at Stitch in Time saw that I had posted on Facebook the evening shortly after my aunt's funeral, and she sent me a message like, hey, are you okay? And thank you so much. And I really hope that I can, be there for you guys should you ever need it. And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, and to really just comment on just what a warm community FlossTube is, and the cross-stitching folks on Facebook are, and I'm sure everywhere. People who make things are generally just so caring and so giving. What can I do to end this on not kind of a serious note? I could do an embarrassing chair dance! Well, yeah. Sorry. It was either that or sing, and you don't want me to do that. No. So I hope everyone has a wonderful week. If you're participating in Stitch Mania, keep it up. You're doing awesome. If you're not participating in Stitch Mania, I hope that you're having fun with your whips and, new starts and things like that, and I look forward to seeing what you're doing. There's some really great stuff out there. Yeah, so have a wonderful week, and yeah, I'll see you later. Take care, okay?